I used to say that the best plan was to turn on your phone, put it into drive mode, and wait in your parking lot. I'm still going to say that. Wait out your side of your house. If you can get a ride out of your house, that's fantastic. You're not going to be driving around wasting gas and time. Now, ultimately, everyone thinks that they're going to work in a certain area. I want to work in Seattle. I want to work in Bellevue. Well, sure, but you're going to get people that are going to pull you out of those areas, and you're going to go to other areas. So you need to be able to be flexible and not just say, I'm going to work here. Because the logistics of driving back and forth and staying in that area just aren't going to work. You're going to get ride requests as you're driving back over, and you're going to have to go somewhere else. So you need to be open and be flexible. Now, I had said that after 10 or 15 minutes of waiting, if you don't get anything, go ahead and drive around. Now, 3 months of pretty much doing exactly that, I learned that you're going to get ride requests from sometimes really far away. Now, how their system works is the longer you stay in drive mode, the bigger the circle gets, the bigger the map gets of where you're going to be able to get ride requests from. So sometimes that's a bad thing. And to give you an example, I was in Seattle, I was in Bellevue, and in this particular city, there's another city across from it called Seattle. You've all heard of that. Well, you have to drive across a bridge. Now, I got a ride request to go pick somebody up in Seattle from Bellevue. That was a 22-minute ride. So you need to be, again, willing to go other places. Now, that one I'm going to segue in. We'll pause. So don't drive around. Don't drive around. Do not drive around at all. Many times I've gone looking for that dollar, and it turned out to be that I had to drive back all the way that I drove looking for work to get a ride that I could have just sat there, drove down the street, and picked them up. So driving around at any point, no matter how good your gas mileage is completely worthless. If you're going to get a ping, you're going to get a ping. Being close to it, I haven't seen is going to affect anything. Just wait for it to come in. Now, as I said, I want to segue into the next thing is don't be afraid to reject a ride. A lot of times you're going to get rides that are too far away. For example, the one I just gave you. It wanted me to cross and go from city to city. That was an estimated 22 minutes on the travel report. No way. I'm not going to go drive 22 minutes and get out of the area that I'm being successful in to go and potentially just take you down the street. So, yeah, you are rated every night on your approval rating, and you want to get that close to 100% as possible. But what I'm trying to say is ultimately I think we have room for a couple to a few requests that you can decline. I wouldn't really like doing more than 2 a night, but I am now declining rides. Well, what rides are you declining? I'm declining rides that anything that's over 10 minutes to get to is nuts. That's just insane if it takes anything over 10 minutes. Some might argue 15, but going into the 20 range, that's nuts. Their system shouldn't even be designed that way. Now, you can go out of drive mode, and that kind of makes your circle much smaller, so you can kind of curb that. So maybe it was my fault in the end, but either way. So the other people that I would decline are anybody that has a rating under 4.5. Well, why is that? I've noticed anytime it's under 4.5, it's either a really short ride. Like, I've taken people across an intersection before. It was infuriating because the whole trip, going to drive to get to her, picking her up and taking her over, we're talking like a 20-minute round trip. So that was really frustrating. So I will decline those rides. I've also noticed that anybody under a 4.5 either doesn't talk much or might have some type of social, like, tick or problem, or, and I'm saying that wrong, but what I'm saying is maybe they're an asshole. Sorry. I'm going to have to call a duck a duck. I've noticed anybody under 4.5 is one of those two things generally. An asshole, or you're just like wanting me to take you down the street. And nobody likes assholes, right? Right? That's what I thought. Anybody around that range, just decline them. You're not going to see too many out of that low anyways, because the system, I think, weeds them out real quick. Now, a lot of people see those big money days where it's, oh, I made $150, I made $200, I made $250, and they're happy about it and they're excited. At the same time, you need to not forget that the tax man is going to cometh. So you need to be taking about 20% of whatever you're making and stashing it off to the side. Come at the end of the year, it's going to be very frustrating, and it's going to be a lot of money. It's not like having a normal job with like a W-2 where they either just take it out for you or you have to pay a little bit. No, It's really frustrating. So you got to track all your receipts, keep all your receipts, all the gas, all the mileage. But anyways, be prepared to pay some taxes. That also leads to be prepared to fix your car. You're going to be driving all over the fucking place. Pardon my French. All over the fucking place. You're going to be driving everywhere. Actually, to the point where there was a few areas that, while I was making great money, it just wasn't worth it anymore. You're beating the shit out of my car now. Driving down these roads that are cobblestone, see, we're driving down the cobblestone road, they built it about this long ago, see, back when they used to talk like this, see, and it's just like 1 month of that. I was just, no, my suspension is going to get fried, my car is going to get fried, I just can't be doing this all night. An ignition coil went out. That was a surprise $200 to get fixed that day. Get some AAA might come in handy. So what I'm saying is, just be prepared to fix your car. You're going to be driving it all day. There might be a really super busy day where you don't even shut off your car. The thing's literally running for 5 to 8 hours. Who knows? It's going to get warm. So you need to be taking good care of it too. You need to make sure you're not going over your oil changes. You're using maybe some fuel additives. I really like Marvel Mystery Oil and Seafoam. But point being, take care of your car and be prepared for the worst to happen. Because if you're banking on this as being your meal ticket, if something fucks up, well, you're going to be up shit creek. You need to be able to pay for this. So don't ever do this with this being your meal ticket and not having some form of emergency money to pay for a mechanical repair. So bring tiny things. You're going to see some guys on YouTube saying, oh no, it's not worth it to bring the candy, gum. I don't see that anybody cares. Well, 3 times now in my reviews, I've seen people mention that they were thankful for the gum, thankful for the candy, and I started picking up Capri Suns, remember those old juice packets, and I'll just put them in the back sleeves of my seat, and people either laugh at them or they'll take them. They're cheap as shit, too. Like, you can get 2 boxes of like 10 for like $3 or something. I also have like the tiny waters that you can get for super cheap. By the time you've paid for this, it's 20 cents or less for the bottle. In my glove box, I've got gum, I've got mints, I've got everything. I've got different kinds of gum, I've got mints, more gum, and then I've got Smarties. This thing is just chock full of Dum-Dums, and sometimes I'll have some other candies to put in there. And it's a nice offering. They like the offer, even if they don't take it. Wow, thanks for offering. Not everybody offers me this. Now let's say they did take it. So somebody comes in, this guy takes my water, this guy takes a Smartie, he takes a gum. Fuck it, he takes a Capri Sun too. I'm not even out 50 cents. So if you can't afford 50 cents per ride, you shouldn't be doing this. And in the long spectrum of how much you're going to make per ride, it's not going to hurt. Everybody could take one of these and it's not going to hurt. That being said, as you're only going to see maybe 3 out of 10 people take an actual drink, take a piece of gum. Not everybody's taking it. Maybe the bar crowd might, but as I said, everybody could take one and it still is really not going to affect you. By the time you've priced out how much these actually cost to buy them in bulk and to share them with your customers, and it's nothing. It's not even 50 cents. And so that being said, bring water. It doesn't hurt anything. It does affect your reviews. And unless you have a perfect 5-star rating, you can't say it doesn't. You can't. Clean your car. Have a nice clean car. Don't have shit all over the place. I'm also a LYFT mentor, and you'd be surprised what these cars look like when people show up to take me for a ride. They've got stuff all over the floor. They've got bits of food all over their dash and console. Bits of themselves, like, did you even vacuum this out? People see that. Shake out your mats before you start the day. Make sure you got a nice washed car. You need to be at least washing it once a week, but make sure it's nice and clean. Make sure it smells good. You might not notice it, but your car might smell like shit. You might have a funny smell. Don't put on, tons of deodorant and stuff like that, so they have to smell your shitty Axe spray. But you know what people love? They love these things. They're strawberry trees. You can pick them up really cheap. I get like 4 of them. I open up about 2 at a time, and I don't take them out of the car. I just keep stuffing them under the seats. And this place smells, between the gum and the candy and stuff, it smells delicious in here, and people comment it all the time. And dudes, chicks love this stuff. The unlimited car wash, it's not worth it. You're going to see some people say, oh yeah, that 20 bucks a month, it's totally great. Yeah, I love it. Well, this is Washington State up here. So that means when the sun comes out, everybody wants to wash their car. You drive by the car wash up here that offers it, and it's just lines of people. So unless you want to start with a 30-minute wait to wash your car every day, I don't recommend it. Also, I don't recommend washing your car every day if it's touching your car. I'm a big proprietor to hand washing your car. The machines, they put big streaks and swirls. Sometimes they do a terrible job and leave films. If you can, just wash your car yourself. It's really the best way to do it. But as I said, the unlimited car wash is not going to be worth it. Don't just get discouraged. A lot of people get discouraged right out the gate. I did my first day. It's been 30 minutes. How come I don't have a ride yet? How come I'm not so busy? Calm down. You have to realize if you're putting in 5 to 8 hours, you might only have 5 or 8 trips. You might have around 10. You're not going to be, if you can do 2 an hour, you're doing great. You might do 1 an hour, but some of those might be paying you so much that it equaled out. A lot of times, it might take you 3-4 hours before you get a trip to the airport. Before you get the guy that wants to go to his friend's house that's kind of up north and he lives in the suburbs, but you met him in the city. Well, these rides are anywhere from $35, $45. And generally, if you're working 5 to 8 hours, you're going to see probably 2 of those rides. There's a good chance that 2 of those rides could provide you with 80 to 100 bucks. And you just have to wait. You're not going to get them right out the gate. Sometimes you might. The other day, I got a ride right out the gate that was 60 bucks. I actually just went home after that. I was so happy because I only wanted to make $100 that day. So I was like, what, screw it anyways. I made this in an hour. I'm going home. So don't get discouraged. Just put in the time and go for it. Now they've got also these things called heat maps. As you're driving along, you're going to see on your display where people are requesting the most LYFT rides, and it's going to be a pink square. It's going to be a pink square right there in the map, and it's going to get darker and darker and darker as it gets more demand. Well, LYFT wants you to go and drive over to those because it's paying 150% more. It's paying 200% more, whatever. And that's great because you could pick up Joe Dick and take him like 2 blocks and it might be like 10 bucks or something like that. Well, at the same time, it might take you 10-20 minutes to drive over to the heat map. Now, by the time you've gotten to the heat map, it's all done. Everybody's gone left. Now the heat map might be somewhere else. So really, it's just causing everybody to want to come in and get this golden nugget. And yeah, one of you guys is going to get the golden nugget, but the rest of you, you're all fucked. So now you got to go somewhere else. That's exactly how it works. I've never gotten one ride in a heat map, and I've tried maybe 10, 15 times that I've purposely put myself in the heat map. So don't chase them. Stick to the 2-question rule. What's that? Well, when you get in, you want to say, hi, how's it going? Great. Maybe you're going to talk about the weather. You're going to say, oh, isn't this some great weather today? We're having, and they say, oh yeah, this is sun. It's amazing. I love it. Great. You already see this guy's into talking. You can talk to him now. You ask him another question about maybe where he's headed or something or what he does. And he says, oh, I'm a science engineer. I engineer science and I make computers. In fact, I'm going to build computers right now. Great. This guy's giving you information. You're going to be able to talk to him. But what if you ask him a question and he doesn't really say anything? You ask about the weather. Oh, isn't this great weather? And he says, oh yeah, it's pretty nice. Okay. Well, give him another question. So, you up to anything good today? No, just driving over to going over to my mom's house. Well, you can see that this guy doesn't want to talk too much. So you don't want to keep asking him questions over and over, making him uncomfortable. Doesn't mean that you can't talk. Just generally, if you get a feel that they're kind of passive and don't want to say anything, at that point you just kind of want to throw in the towel and, just drive them to where they want you to be. Don't ever forget that some people that ride it in your car do think of you as a service. They might make a ton of money and look at you as just, like I said, service labor. He's a peon taking me to where I need to go. And that's happened a few dozen times. Just depends on who you have in your car. So don't get too mouthy. I have a hard time with that. Use the 2-question rule and just, try to put a feel out for if they want to talk or not. City versus suburbs. Where should you be? Should I be in the city taking people around that don't have cars? Or should I be in the suburbs trying to get those long rides into the city, into the fun areas? Well, it kind of is up to you, and I highly recommend that you spend about a week doing both. You might only have to spend 1 day doing both to get a good feel for how this is all going to go down. If you're in the suburbs, you're going to get fewer rides, but they're going to be more money. You might get people coming from, the city to suburbs. That's going to cost $20 maybe to get to the entertainment areas. Maybe you're taking them back home from the entertainment areas, and that's going to be $20 to $30. But if you're trying to always do that, like I said earlier, and like the first thing I mentioned, it's not going to work. You can never really just stay in one area because you're always going to have somebody pulling you somewhere else. Sometimes, if you're in the city though, those areas are really short, so you're just constantly bouncing around the city. But eventually, as I said, as long as you have patience, one of these rides is going to take you somewhere else, and it's going to pay you a lot more, but it's going to take up more of your time and put you in a new area. So again, be prepared to be flexible. I don't think there is any ultimate, this is the best one to do. You're going to have to find out what works for you. Here in Seattle, I'm a guy that likes to kind of almost go everywhere. Everything's too random up here. I try to stay in certain areas, but it doesn't always work out. Now, another thing that really can affect your rating is calling your passenger. I hear a lot of times that, oh, I'm so thankful that you called me. Well, why did I call him? Well, when I showed up right next to their pin, because you're going to get a little pin to arrive to on their map, where they put it. And usually that's exactly where they hit the request ride button. Well, what if you had to park across the street? What if you had to park somewhere else? What if you can't even park on that street? Give them a call, say, hey, just so you know, I can't get right next to your pin, or I'm across the street from where you parked. People are fucking stupid. Let's just put this out there. A lot of times they get out there and, why is the car not right out in front of my house? I'm across the street. Let's just prevent that from happening. Let's just give them a call, let them know where you're at, let them know that they have to go kitty corner around, do your best you can, but calling them is going to save a lot of face, as opposed to you just showing up and them having to walk around the street, walk around the block to find your pin. So you need to make it easy for them to find you. And if you can't, they're gonna see that and they're gonna put it in the rating. You got a shitty rating because you parked around the corner and they had to come find you. Or you got a good rating because you parked around the corner and actually gave them a call and said, hey, I'm around the corner. Also, to add on to that, if you've waited longer than 3 minutes, this is going to save your ass a few times too. If you have waited longer than 3 minutes, you can cancel the ride. You have to have called the customer though. So it's arrive, wait 3 minutes, call customer. Now, even if they pick up the phone, you can still cancel the ride. And one time, when he picked up the phone, I was like, there's no way I'm fucking picking this dude up. He's toe up. He's drunk off his ass. Canceled that shit and took off. So I'm not dealing with somebody that can barely speak. Now, maybe they don't pick up the phone. Cancel the ride. Now, why you do this is you get $5 for at least wasting your time to come out there. And a lot of times, those ones that take over 3 minutes to get out the door, and sometimes it gets a little sketchy if you gotta wait like 5 minutes and stuff. They're still talking to the guys in the club. They're still hanging out and partying and stuff, and they're not going to take what you're doing seriously, so it's a pain in the ass. Drive late, expect drunks. If you drive past 11 o'clock, people are going to get hammered, and as I've said, they're not the most fun people to take home, and they also rate you lower. My cutoff point personally is an 11 o'clock, and the last guy you want to take home is the dude that's been told, hey dude, the fucking bar is closing, you need to go home now. Like, he's no fun to take home ever. People do puke in cars. People do puke in cars and try to roll down your window, and then it goes down the side of your car. Cleaning that out, it's a lot of money. It's $250, $300. And from what I've heard, LYFT is not always as responsive as they can be reimbursing people for that. Up front, I carry actually a bag right up here, so in case I need to throw them a barf bag, I can. I also have barf bags in all the lines of the seats. Nobody's fucking puking in this car. Well, hopefully not. If you're going to drive late, like I said, expect the drunks. Yes, you can stay very busy all night long taking drunk people home, but at the same time, it probably is going to affect your ratings, and you're going to have to deal with people that you just don't want to deal with. We're almost done here. Actually, you know what? That is it. I ended it with don't pick up drunks. So anyways, I hope you are having success. I hope my previous videos have helped you. At any time, if you want me to make any videos on anything at all, please let me know, and I will do my best to crank out another video. Again, I hope you have all the success in the world, make lots of money, and I send you much love, and good luck. I hope this helps.